How's it going? How's everybody doing? It's funny. I had my last haircut for like the last 6 months was long hair up on top. It was just kind of like my grandpa. My it's just sort of like that Italian long hair up on top, slicked back, like it was the 30s, and it just pissed me off once it got warm. And it's funny because I've had these like messages on those live chats and in comments being like, "Oh, you're balding," and I was like, "Well, no, I'm not. I just have a different haircut. Like, I don't think I'm balding." And then randomly, just because it was hot, I was just like, "I'm shaving my head," so I just shaved my head in my bathroom, and in the studio bathroom, like a nut job. Like that's something you do before you like kill a politician or something, right? And so, but I didn't kill a politician. I just finished a bird video. Uh, but now it's really funny because the light's always hitting up here, like whenever I'm streaming in here, and it always seems like I'm balding from the webcam. But I swear to God, I'm not. Look at that! Look at that beautiful head of hair. I have a nice big scar here from a dumb injury I got when I was younger. Um, yeah, but I will bald, I'm sure. Maybe I'm just preparing for that. Maybe it's like, yeah, I know that a portion of my life will be spent looking like a giant penis. And now I just want to see what that's going to be like. Uh yeah, I mean, I have low T. Um let's see. Reading this, I'm going to try and stay on the chat. It's so hard to do when I'm doing modular. Especially, it would help if I spent more than 15 minutes setting up. Um, have I been chatting to birds again? No, I'm done with birds. No, I mean, I'm still into them. And one side effect of that video that actually is kind of obnoxious is like uh, immediately my brain filled up with bird stuff, right? And so normally if I do a video on like bots or like the Twitter bots or self-driving cars or anything like that, it's kind of like all the information just flies out of my head the moment I'm done with the video. And I'm moving on to the next thing, and I'm very excited to move on to the next thing because I'm tired of that topic. But now, every moment of my day in the studio, outside, I'm just like, oh, that's a Carolina wren. Oh, that's a warbler. Oh, that's a cardinal, northern cardinal. That's a female, and yeah, and I even thought about getting those new Sony really nice noise canceling headphones. I was just like, maybe I should just wear those for a week and get the birds out of my head. Um, no, the video I'm working on now uh, is. Anytime I start working on a video, it's one of those things where it's like, I shouldn't even be doing it. This is dumb. Why am I making it? And then it turns into a video, sometimes good ones, sometimes not good ones. The one I'm doing now is on government surveillance, not like crazy spy microphone stuff, but like active everyday government surveillance. And in that, I acquired some like license plate reading cameras that are capable of facial recognition that are used like that are mounted on police cars and government vehicles, and they're mounted on the side of the road. But I consulted my attorney about this because this is a really shaky area legally, and I cannot hack any of them. Like I can't boot it up and then log into it and access the data on it. That's a felony. So what I've done is I've taken them apart and identified everything that I possibly could. And some of them are like really proprietary. So, some of it's really hard to like get the specs of the video sensors. And then I've rebuilt my own, and the first one booted up today, and like I 3D printed a nice case for it, and it's going to mount in my truck, and it's going to read every single license plate that it sees as long as you're driving the vehicle. And like the goal of it would be to store them and upload them to this network called Flock that cops and ICE use. However, due to legal restrictions, I can't store them. I can only display them on the screen. And it does some other crazy stuff. So that's like super fun. Right now, it's super fun. I'm gonna get very, very, very bored with it. Not bored with it, but just tired of it. And then there's some other things too, just like general how the government is using your data, and then how they're losing your data, and who else is gaining from it. So one of those videos that's just going to be like really dorky or really engaging. Who knows? But yeah, my car is about to be really cool. Hair on my neck makes me crazy if the outside temperature climbs above 70. I mean, I like 70, 75. Yeah, I'm like good. Like 70, even 80. I'm fine with 80. 80, I can like, I'll keep all the windows open. I'll sleep with the windows. I won't even turn on a fan. But here in Georgia, it's been like 100% humidity and like upper 90s every day. Um, and I remember in the Midwest, it'd get up in the hundreds, maybe not with so much humidity, but it would get up in the hundreds. And then, and then like at night, it would cool off. And so you'd open your window and you'd have this like, 70-degree air. Here, it just doesn't seem to do that. It's just like being in a hot tub against your will. In the summer, but it goes away. And the winters are when it's really awesome here. It's kind of, I still can't get used to it when you think about like in Georgia, for example, there are restaurants that like for example, when the rest of the country was having COVID outbreaks in the winter, a lot of the Southeast was fine because people weren't really going out all that much. And then in the summer, or sorry, I have it backwards. Basically, like some restaurants close down in the summer just because it's like too hot. Nobody wants to eat outside, and then they reopen in the winter. It's like Australia. Another side effect of the bird video is that my dad is now into your channel. Well, he will be for another 2 or 3 weeks, and then another video will come out and unsubscribe. I feel like that's the thing about gaining subscribers from videos like the bird video. It's like they're going to be really annoyed with me in the next video comes out. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, hotels and motels in that Grand Canyon region are just like they know that you're never going to come back. They have no reason to make you happy, and I'm sure they're going to threaten you about your Google review or something if you leave them a bad one. Let's get into the modular. Having a haircut is such a big sensory trigger for me, to be honest. I'd better bake a bit in the summer. I'd better bake. Yeah. I don't know. I hate. Honestly, I don't know. I feel the thing about haircuts is I always dread them. Like I have a barber here that is very talkative and takes his time, and it's fine. It's great. He's awesome. It's wonderful. I love it, but I dread it because I think I just dread social interactions a lot of times. Like I don't want to say I get anxious about them, but I know that they're going to cost energy. Like there's a special type of social energy that people have, and I don't have much of it apparently. And however, when I do get it cut, I'm super happy, and I actually feel like I have more energy afterwards. But I always just dread like, oh no, I'm gonna have to talk about my day, and it's gonna get into politics or whatever else. And so, oh okay, well, ham radio and libertarian. My brand of libertarian, that's good. My brand of libertarian is more like leftist, I don't know, anarchist, maybe. Off topic, are you going to be playing with the Polyend Mess? Polyend Mess is the first Polyend product in like 5 years that I had no knowledge of whatsoever. I mean, I had some knowledge that it was in development ages ago, like when it was just an idea. I had no idea it was coming out. I had no idea it was done. They asked me if I wanted to make presets for it after it had been announced. And I said no, but not because I'm dying to check it out. I just didn't have time. Like it was just like I'm gonna make really garbage presets, or I'm not gonna finish it on time and waste your valuable preset space. Yeah, I'll check it out if they send me one for sure. I'm excited to see that. Yeah. All right. Here we go. This is the mess we're dealing with today. You like my coffee right here on the modular? What could go wrong? So our new modules are the Erica, new meaning I got them a while ago and haven't been able to check them out yet. The Erica Synth Sonic Potions module, which is a bunch of drum. How many does it have? When I say a bunch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drum channels. It's basically a module version of the LXR DR or whatever it's called. And then down here we have, no, that's here. And then down here we have the Hermod Plus, which is something that I've been interested in this for a very long time. What I was not interested in was the idea of getting a new module that has a bright screen, just because, I don't know, I would rather not have many screens on here, but I gave in. And it's actually, the funny thing is that the Erica Synths, it has a noise problem. And I actually have written some emails about it, and I intend on returning it because I was trying to fix it. I even have, that's why I have this separate power supply here, just because it's pretty quiet. It's still loud when it's hooked up to the separate power supply. But the moment I plug in another cable to it, you get crazy circuit noise, ground noise, stuff like that. And I believe that the reason, my guess, is that the screen is not grounded properly. And I opened it to modular. I flipped it over. I had a look at it, and I decided that I would rather return it than try and repair it myself and break it and then be out of a module. So, whatever. That being said, if I'm with this defective Erica Synths module, I have tons of Erica Synths modules, and this is the first time I've had a problem with any of them. So, no part of me is they're yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably more than that, honestly, if you go on the other rack here that we're not using in the stream. Yeah, they make quality products. I think that this one was just a fluke. Probably the ground cable to the display maybe got disconnected. Maybe that would be a good place to start, by listening to the noise. No, by just... So what I'll do is I'll plug it into my key step here, and then I will enjoy programming a beat, but I will also have it not hooked up to anything other than the key step and the external power supply. So we do not have to listen to that noise issue. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use them all at once unless we want to listen to that noise issue. So... let's just use our drum gates. If anybody doesn't have a KeyStep Pro, well, or a BeatStep Pro, this isn't new news, but they are really, the BeatStep Pro is one of those things where you just can't believe it's as cheap as it is. And same with the KeyStep. It's such a great quality MIDI controller, and they got updates for a really long time. I don't know if there's going to be more BeatStep Pro updates. I'd be surprised if there was. But yeah, they're really great. The KeyStep Pro is a little bit pricier. It's a little bit newer than the BeatStep, but still 100% worth it, as you will soon find out if you're not familiar with them. But I assume if you're familiar with anything in modular, you are probably already familiar with both of these devices. All right, so we will be on channel 1, and let's maybe get both channels. Oh, this one's plugged into what? There's a lot of routing happening. This one's making a weird... You could route these. This has 2 outs. Well, it has 2 stereos, and then so how many does it have? Total, it has 4 outputs, which is kind of funny because I bought a 10-pack of cables. Expect that for some reason in my head, I thought it had more than that. My fault, though. I don't regret it or anything like that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you could hear the noise, although some of that might be my mixer. And this is with the external... Let me unplug this. Yeah, that's the ground. You heard it for a moment. Yeah, but bad news bears. That was actually bad. Did anybody notice that there was a little latency? What was the name of the ethical voice swap application I made? I didn't make it. I just I co-founded the company, but I didn't make it. It's voice swap AI. So voiceswap.ai is where you can find it, and you could make an account and do some inferences for free. But if you want to use them anywhere, you got to pay the licensing fee. Yeah, right. This is actually way worse. In my brain, the other day, it was perfectly fine for streaming, but today, yeah, I bet it's because I have a laptop right in between, so it's sending out that ground noise. But I mean, I bet if we boost up the effects, let me load up another kit. Burner. Some of the kits are like really loud too. Maybe it might be good to actually plug in some of the second channel. Could be. Okay. Third channel could be our snare. And fourth channel could be our hi-hat. And we'll just stop there for now. Well, that's good. I'm glad that we could also put reverb on the noise. I don't know if it's actually making a difference. Oh. I have one of these Tascam 24 mixers. I bought it again. I had one years ago and I sent it back. Got another one just because nobody seems to want to make decent mixers that record multiple tracks. Oh, you know what? We're not going to be able to get any effects from the mixer in the okay, large room on. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get any effects because we're coming out of the sub out. All of this will be fixed the next time I stream here because I felt like if I tried to install the drivers, I would regret it for my stream would just not happen. I just was like, yeah, let's just not do that for now and stick with what we do with the other interface. All right. Yeah, I guess we're just going to have noise. I'm trying little things here and there. I also like that the volume of my voice that you hear is the same that I hear, which usually is not the case. Usually I have to like listen to complaints for a little while. Okay, so Beat Step, Key Step Pro looks like this. You're not really missing much by not seeing the keys other than my sick finger drumming. However, you don't need that. You can just hold down whatever key you want it to program and oh, right now we have our limit. Right now we have a limited oh, there we go. Never mind. Okay, now we can tune this down, I believe. Maybe it's the FM. Or maybe it's a wave. Different kit because this one might have some weird thing going on. Damn. Okay, that might be a little too intense. I like that. Alright, let's try and tune that again. Select drum. There we go. I didn't have it selected. Decay. And then they all have like a weird FM, which is pretty fun. We can play with that in a second. All right, next up, voice 2. Nice, I like that one. Snare. It is a little distorted, but I think it's from the effects going on in. And then we don't seem to have any hi-hat up. Not a huge fan of this hat, but we will fix that. All right, let's pretend we're performing in Berlin or something. Not a fan of this hi-hat. Although I do love the range of weird-ass sounds in this. Ooh, it sounds like a Casio SK1. Here's our slope. Can't really see the text, I'm sure, but okay. And then if we want to, so I'll make like a little bit more of a complicated pattern here. Go back to our kick. Okay, what I'm going to do now is hit last step here and change the last step of this hi-hat to 15 rather than 16. Now I'll do the same for this sound to 14. Let's do it to the snare to 15. And this one can stay at, kick can stay at 16. Oh, this might be doing it to each sequence in each one. Yeah, it is. Okay. I don't program drums on this that often. I usually just use it for the multiple channels. Yeah, this is all CV out. And we could swing it. Okay, let's play with some effects. This just has a normal tube drive. Could have fold distortion, that might be weird. Wow. Maybe make this thing drag a bit more. And then our snare. wave, square wave. Well, where's our square? There we go, PWM. And all of this can be controlled with CV. Let's put some FM on the snare. And slow down the tempo. Oh, the snare doesn't have FM. Max FM. Damn. There we go. Sounds like it's raining out with the noise. We also have, I'll turn the distortion down before doing that, with the overdrive. Okay, so we you can modulate that. That's tone. We will have to find it though. Oh wow, there's a whole menu. Alright, let's see if it works. Hook it up to a maths. All right. It'll go away if it goes all the way down to 0. There we go. Okay. The Solaris, no, I have not. I don't think so. Maybe I have. If it's freeware, I probably haven't. It's just not ringing a bell. Top modules for a small rig. Oh, man, I really like. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say that for top modules. I mean, I'd say a math. Yeah. I'd say a maths or something like it, like some that's what I just was using here, just because, I mean, actually there is a maths clone for VCV Rec now where you could probably play with it, but maths was the first module that made me say, oh, I get it now, with analog, right? Because before that I was just like my understanding, but like I guess my take on analog versus digital synthesis was like, yeah, it's I don't know what year it was. Yeah, it's 2013. Nobody could tell the difference. Like, why would anybody be able to tell the difference? But this modular thing looks interesting just because I get to like program beats in a different way or program melodies in a different way. And one of my first modules was maths. You know, like in the first month, I think that was like one of my first things, my first like one rack kit. And then I was immediately like, oh, okay, got it. Like the modulation power, there's just, you could tell that, I suppose you could tell the difference the easiest with analog modulating something, or if you're like using audio rate modulation and stuff. That's where it's the easiest, and that's also. And then the other thing that really made me stick with modular, despite VCV rack and stuff like that being so powerful, or Cardinal, is the ability to bring in anything into it. Like there's so many times where I've made like a laser CV effector and poured paint into it, and shit like that. Dumb things that were actually really fun to do. And then, hook it up to other instruments that could take voltage in. You could really like, yeah, I mean, if you know anything about circuitry or PC. You could really make your own modular. Like you obviously you need to learn programming if you want like an interface, a graphical interface or anything like that. But yeah, I think that's it. Is it just really made me dive into that. So with that being said, my recommendations for a first modular are Maths. If you like the mutable stuff, I highly recommend it. Mutable Rings is one of my favorites. And you could get like, for $200, you could get a custom made, like hand soldered rings PCB kit that's like finished. You know, you could get them on Etsy or Reverb or whatever. Or for like $8, you could just buy a PCB and make your own. Behringer just cloned it. I've not played with it, obviously. They don't even give attribution to the creator. So I just think it's petty. And I feel like most of the Behringer modules I've played with or have, just kind of made me feel like, well, what's the point of modular then? If we're just going to be taking other things and repurposing them with as cheap hardware as possible, like then why would you not use VCV Rec? Anyway, sorry for going on that tangent. I got to be completely honest and say that I've never heard anything come out of a modular rig that has actually impressed me. That's bullshit. It is bullshit, but not because I think you're a liar. I think you've probably not realized that something was made in a modular. I think that the type of people who post modular on YouTube and Instagram are making fart sounds. Also, if you just search modular synth, like for example, if this stream were me showing you how modular synths work, the first thing I would do is take that Maths or an LFO or whatever and hook it into a sine wave and make a fart sound. Not because I wanted to hear a fart sound, because that's like the most genuine way to show you what's happening with the modulation is by modulating a sine wave really fast and rapidly. And so therefore on social media, a lot of people are into modular just because they like patching around and they're not necessarily making music with it or recording it, which is fine. It's it's no more or less expensive than other hobbies, I suppose. That being said, I've scored entire films with a modular, literally. But I just wasn't like, it was with a modular, everybody. Just didn't really, it was a film that's played in a lot of planetariums. But what impresses you, Subspace Jet Witch? What would impress you in a modular? Yeah. Richard Devine has, I think he's spent over 6 figures on probably one of the largest Buchla builds in the world. And I've been wanting to go over there, and I'd love to make a video on it. Honestly, it's incredible. But yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think what a good modular show off would be, but I suppose it would be the ability to say, okay, so let's make a beat. I'm going to load a new drum kit, one that's not distorted to shit. Railgun. Do we just have a normal... Wow, ask and you shall receive, I suppose. Okay. By the way, I'm not insulted that you've never been impressed by modular. I don't really care. But... yeah, so just doing shit like this, it's obviously you could do this anywhere. Oh, I keep hitting this thing because it's... Oh, you can't see it on the screen, but... Oh, this is in hold mode. I get it now. Can I not have it in hold mode? There's a little effect thing down here. Let me see if I could switch it off somehow. Clear. turn this off? I feel like it's stuck. I don't want to look at the menu, or the manual. There we go. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to make a TV 303. Oh, this is already plugged into that, so let's just plug it in there. We'll have this going to my gate, this going to my pitch. Okay, what is that? Channel 4. I'm going to make a quick acid line. Oh, I can't hear anything. But that was random, just like acid. Let's output this somewhere. Maybe to that channel. Probably could have cleaned up some cables before starting the stream, but what is the fun in that? Goodness. This is what all electronic music sounded like to me when I was younger. Not because that's what electronic music was when I was younger, but that's what Chicago, the craze of Chicago house was, because it was like a big trend, and so you had like everybody doing it, and this is what they did because they weren't really, they were just following a trend. And then of course you had like classics that were genius, but all right. Let's see how we did. All right, but the goal of this is to make a 303. Getting there. We need a slide. We can make this gate longer. Have a sign. You can't really see what I'm doing up here, but all right. There we go. And then let's try it with a square. I think the PWM on that is just the pulse width modulation. I liked our saw better. I did it again, I hit the thing. I need to figure out how to get rid of this. Because it is ignorant. Wonder what's doing that. Anybody in the chat ever see that? Yeah. All right. Now we can double them. We can leave 303 territory. Anyway, I think my demonstration of that was more like average synthesizer music made for something like just sort of like, oh, let's get that sound and then getting it, like just being like, all right, we'll patch this into this filter and this into this, and then we'll have it and we'll sequence it this way. Whereas, with other outboard gear, you're kind of just using that gear. It doesn't really get to morph. And I wanted to use the least interesting modules I could for that purpose. But speaking of more interesting modules, not that there isn't anything incredibly interesting about the Erica Synth Sonic Potions, it's just really noisy. And I'm ready to do this. Wow. Although my laptop fan, now I realize that my laptop fan noise is going nuts. Okay, one of my favorites as of recent, oh boy, is, what's doing that? Oh, it's this. Nothing but noises. Is the Monumatic Nobula. And I've had it in previous streams, and it is fantastic. And I love it very much. I'm going to get all of these cables out of the way, because this module, as much fun as it seems to be, is going back, unfortunately. I'll probably exchange it for another one unless they tell me that the volume is just really low on it for some reason, or something like that. Or, nope, it's a noisy module. And then I'll say, okay, well, it's kind of unusable, because the noise is far too high for use in any actual recording environment. But what the noisiest module I ever had? God, I can't even remember the name of it. It was the Make Noise, the one everybody was crazy about, the one that like sampled digital. I forgot it, but it had a coil whine that would just make my room scream at all times, whether it was plugged into the speakers or not. And it turned out, okay, turned out that was just a raw oscillator. Turned out that was happening with all of them. And also turned out that they weren't really interested in fixing them unless you got it repaired professionally or bought another one. And so that was sadly, I really like their modules. So obviously Maths is one of the best modules of all time, but that was the last Make Noise module I ever bought, because I thought that was lame AF. And another thing that I hate about that stuff, Make Noise wouldn't do it, but A lot of times if I complain about something on stream, the company will then reach out and be like, we're really sorry that happened. We'll send you another one. Like, but that's not the answer I want. I want everybody to get another one. I want everybody affected by like a manufacturing defect to get a new product, not just me. Like, what am I going to do then? Just come up here and talk about how great it is while everybody else is like, wow, you piece of shit, you're lying. It's garbage. All right, look at this clean start we have here. It's a good dopamine rush to just have a clean module. It's like TikTok for men in their 40s. I would love to dedicate some time to figuring out where these cables are going, but I don't have that. Not now. All right. Right down here. So I have my Beat Step hooked into, my KeyStep Pro hooked into this via USB. Crazy, right? I can have it hooked in there via CV Gate, but I'm choosing not to for simplicity's sake. And what that can do is then send, I do believe that if I have a stereo cable, I should be able to MIDI out from here to the MIDI in of the Monumatic, which would be fantastic. Like, that actually would be pretty incredible. I mean, I'm sure I do have a stereo 3.5 millimeter cable, but at that point we'd just be playing with this and nothing else by not using CV. So that would be lame. Let's do it the right way. Let's not use the Monumatic. Hey, the person who asked me for a modular module recommendation, that's one. The Monumatic is a great recommendation for like something that you'll get a lot of sounds out of and a lot of playability from. That is definitely one of those. I don't know where to start. Let's start with the. Maybe I could control the old Doper. Yeah, as raw as it gets. Oh yeah, because we have actually, that could be fun, because we have a lot of different voices here. And so we could just plop all those into a filter and have a wonderful time. I feel like I'm giving off phony Bob Ross vibes. So this quad oscillator will go into a quad VCA. Although I think some of them will go into filters first. Let's do that. This way we could make a really interesting soundscape that uses many different filters. Actually, I have a lot of filters, so let's just go nuts here. I've upped my filter game big time. We're going to have to test this, though. And this is the main out for everything. Okay. There was a really bad storm at the beginning of this stream, and I was thinking to myself, I'm a little bit nervous that the power's going to go out or something, and then all this fun time is going to be lost. But it appears that that might not happen. If I were smart, I would be enveloping all of these filters too and just making a giant polysynth that 4 different channels from this would be controlling. But I'm also lazy. But I do have a lot of envelopes. Well, we could do that, and we could just envelope the filters if we want. I'm not like this when I'm not streaming, by the way. I'm not like lazy about things like that. It's really only a stream thing because I'm just self-conscious of your time being wasted by watching it, even though like few things are less. You know, you're probably doing something else right now. You're probably not just laser focused on my streaming, which is a good thing because it's probably boring as hell. Okay. We're gonna have to tune this puppy. That'd be funny if it like wasn't turned on or something. And by funny, I mean annoying as hell. All right, and then some stereo out. Well, we only need a mono output to, let's go into the black hole DSP and then out into our outputs, and we should hear some god-awful noise. I only need some short guys here. Not hearing anything yet. Probably because the channel's muted. Bingo. Lovely. All right. All my filters, open them. Everybody meditate. Okay. We can just sequence this. As disturbing as that would sound. Good drum and bass sound. Okay. I should be getting a signal out of this. Ah. Delete pattern. Delete page. I actually don't know if maybe it's because it's in drum. I'm using this in MIDI controller mode, so. Oh. That's why. Sorry, Gary. I have a bunch of effects on this. Still getting used to this module. So we have an arpeggiator. I'm going to get rid of all the effects just because it's going to lead to a lot of confusion. I wish you could see what I'm doing. All right. There we go. Look at that. All right, let's make a melody. Okay. We can close all these other filters for now. And only open this one. Wow. And start using some gates here. These will be my gate cables. And things will get way less annoying once that happens. Okay. This is going to number... Oh. Silly me. Okay, now on the, we can add an effect that locks everything to a scale, which is going to be insanely called scale. Right now it's in major. Let's go with Aeolian, our favorite. Aeolian rather, sorry. And then we could set a chance. So how about only 25% of the time, well, it's 50% of the time, the note will be registered. The other 50% of the time, it will not. How much power does it use? Not less than a laptop, all of it. Annoying. I just want to treat these like they're plucks or something. Okay. So now we have our synthesizer number 2. I'm going to get a shorter cable because we don't need one that long. Number 2 is coming from that filter, CV. Now we need to gate over to it from our second channel. What's going on our second channel? Actually, let's go to third because I was fooling around with this and I don't want to reset it. Okay. So we can gate that envelope. Okay. Now I'm going to close this filter and we'll play with this sound. Need to turn that reverb down so I could hear hear how bad the tuning is. We could change waves here. Okay, now on this second channel, close this filter so we can hear it. Or it's number 3, but the second channel. We could add in an effect that, well, let's bind it to scale later on in here. Unfortunately, again, you can't really see what's happening, but see Aeolian, okay. Then over here we can do a random. Well, no, right before that, let's do a chance of 50%. Also, we can make an elucid, which means that we could set everything to like 15 steps instead, sort of what I was doing on the key step. Now it should be much. Hey, Gary. I heard Gary. I don't know where my puppy is. Maybe he was kidnapped. Not like actually kidnapped, but... Oh, there you are, Bubs. You want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Come on over here. Come here. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Your energy from your walk is almost replenished. There's Gary. Hello, Gary. What do you think? Are you on the stream? He's gonna act weird because he's like, why am I being held up? This is abnormal. Hi, Gary. Yep. That's Gary, everyone. Gary's like incredibly smart, which is a really good thing if you have like a working dog. Not such a great thing if you have a dog that's just like bored. But yeah, he's pretty shy, but we've been bringing him around people, bringing him in public. He's getting way better. Anyway, maybe we'll visit Gary towards the end. He's gonna sit on my lap for now. Yeah, it's like you can't really see the true Gary. He's a puppy, so he's not too much of a lap dog just yet. Plus, he, you know, I don't want to get him canceled, but he said it seems gay to like cuddle. But, you know, he's only a year old, so he'll mature and know not to say things like that. Know that it's actually harmful. Actually, I could put a chance. There already is a chance on the first. On the second guy here, we can put as long as we're in scale in one of the later filters, we can go a random 3 notes down or a random. Actually, let's only go up. Go. So now so this one's just randomizing within that scale. All right. Next up. Wow, it's actually like writing a track, isn't it? Sometimes random's too good. You're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Settle down. It's a little too good. I don't want you thinking of ideas that I didn't think of. I just want you making mine sound a little looser. I almost want to save my maths for some modulation down the road, but I'm also gonna sneeze. All right. Oh my God, Gary's so concerned about that. Gary's like, "Are you all right? I don't understand this yet." Even though he sneezes. All right. Well. This is actually Gary's first stream, because I've figured that he would just piss me off. Like when I was trying to stream, that he'd just be a little bit too playful or something, but he's been great on this one. Watch me go out there and just find like an entire synthesizer chewed to shreds. I'm gonna bring this into scale. Sounds beautiful, right? All right. This way we could tune this again. Okay, another thing we could do is just generate a track. Or not a whole song, but just a track. So I could randomize note pitch, randomize steps. And then let's randomize this a bit more. The reason you're hearing this insane sound on this channel is because Gary is laying his head on the keyboard. Typical Gary. Let's not lay our head there, Bubs. Nice. Okay, maybe now a bass. And I'm gonna have to learn a little bit to do that because I'm gonna want a much slower. Let's see how possible that is. I'm gonna want a slower speed on this channel. Maybe if I hold this down. Oh, look at that, options. Yeah, this module's a little crazy. Oh, there we go. Did I figure it out? No, that's the overall length. Okay, I'm adding, so just so you know what I'm doing. I'm trying to make this bass channel much, much slower. and not getting anywhere with it. All right. So this will need another envelope. Which one to use? Oh, Gary, you're getting good pats. That final one, red, okay. Let me pop this into scale, effect. There we go. Oh, maybe the reason it's not changing the pitch is because I haven't plugged it in. Crazy theory, but it's worth a try. It's a long shot. Let me just hear that one. Let me generate a pattern. Let's see. I have a bad cable. I love finding bad cables. It's like I've saved my future self a whole mess of problems. but nope, I did not find a bad cable. I found a bad brain. I think that's probably closer to be the issue. Maybe I changed something here. CV out. Let's use this one instead. Figured that out some other time. And there, that's going into there. And then that is our envelope. Oh, our envelope's looping. That's our problem. There we go. Nope. This envelope is really confusing sometimes. It's really confusing when you try and use it as one envelope. Alright. Let's just use something else then. See, this is one of those things where I'd like experiment with it otherwise, but when I'm on stream, I'm just like, no, I don't have the guts. I will scratch Gary while looking for an envelope. Ugh, I don't want to use math, but I will. I mean, I don't want to use maths because I save maths for other things. I also overuse the module. All right. Sounds clicky. Alright, bind to scale. Random. Well, maybe we don't need random if we're gonna generate a probability. All right, generator. really digging the effect situation. I feel like maybe this is a great time to use magneto. Plus we could clock out to it, which would be cool. Ooh, yeah. That sounds nice and sloppy. Long clock cable. I bet we could change the output parameter of the clock. Oh, maybe. Ah. Oh my god, I got it. Can we? Clock out rate, look at that. That's beautiful. It's like a painfully slow clock. Let's speed it a little bit. Oh, you know what we can do actually? We should be clocking out to this. Because we're going to want to modulate all of these wildly. And we can just divide this clock by 4 and get our nice long delays. Okay. Maths is not doing it for me on this. seems like it's triggering always too. LFOs. Well, we have a bunch here. more business to do over here in Strymon land. Will this fit? You know, I really should use a stereo mixer. That would be smart. Because that way we could add in a rings or something if we want. Gary, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry I'm moving around. There we go. My only regret is that maths is still way too clicky. And I don't know why. I liked it at first, but now I hate it. The maths, that is. The clickiness of the maths. Hear that? We could change everything to a positive melody. stop it and then we'll play it. Go to augmented. All scales. Go to augmented. I'm sure there's like a way to do this that doesn't require me doing it on everyone, but I don't know it yet. And we can also slow it down. What's happening? Oh, my thumb, my elbow did that. It's like, I just look over and the screen's sneaking out of the, like just excusing itself. It's like, you know, I'm going to go get a coffee if you're not doing this for too much longer. You don't need me anymore, do you, man? All right, now let's see if I can figure out how to set the tempo. I know it's something easy. Oh, I like that echo. Zoom, rack, voices, song, length, matrix, settings, run. That doesn't help me. Wow. I feel like we just discovered a really nice loop pedal on accident. Yeah, no idea how to set tempo. Like practicing holding things down for a minute. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to turn the repeats up and just try something really fast. Thanks for watching and enjoy your sleeping. I'm going to move to harmonic minor for these. Or harmonic major, rather. Derp. I really want this to just like close and open up at weird times. Slow down all of these LFOs. I gotta figure out how to change the BPM. This drives me nuts. I feel like if I have one complaint about this module, it's that. Like, I know it's something basic, but you shouldn't have to think about that. Yeah, especially with something where you just have like no undo and changes if you press a button that like isn't the one you meant to press. It's like you've really paid the price then. Yeah, like there, I just generated a sequence without wanting to. I feel like the Hermod, so the way I would describe it is that the Hermod feels too generative. Like it's a little bit too difficult to make something purposeful on it. I mean, you can use it as a looper and all sorts of stuff like that, which is cool. And the poly and play maybe could use some more generative features, but as far as making something purposeful, it's excellent. So I guess, yeah, it's sort of like one's a little bit too far on one side, one's a little bit too far on the other side. That being said, what that might tell you is that you can't have it both ways. That you kind of have to be like, do I want to write music or experiment with generative music? Because one of these is going to be better for those things. So. I love how weird that scale is. Yeah, if I had 2 more hours, I'd bring in about 3 more oscillators. And Although, you know what has a great random tool is the Key Step and Beat Step series. They, where's the volume? They basically, like, you could program in a sequence and then randomize all notes, and it'll randomize it like within, it uses the other notes you pressed in the sequence as a guide to randomize the others. So what you end up with is this like very easy way to randomize and stay in pitch with everything else, which is pretty brilliant. All right, it's 9:01. Do you know what time it is, Gary? Do you know what time? Oh, he's like, no, don't drop me. You're still used to the you're still not used to the hijinks, although he's getting quite comfy around here finally. He's really into squirrels. What else, Gary? What are you into? You're really into squirrels. You need a job immediately. He says, I need a job. I can't just sit around. So it's funny because like the first week he was like chewing a bit, and I'd like, yell at him, not, meanly, but be like, Gary, come on. And now he'll like bring me pens, and like if like a twist tie falls on the ground, he'll just bring it to me and just be like, put his paws up, and I'll be like, here you go, sir. And it's like that. This breed of dog, like when they're in a younger age, they really, really need to work. Like they just need to do something because they're also. You want to know something that's quite funny? Gary was, I almost said Gary was programmed. Gary was trained as a service dog for very severely autistic children. And the kid that was going to get Gary apparently like did not want him because his name was Gary. And they're like, well, we could change his name. And he was like, no, I want a dog that's name is something else. And so which is like a very autistic thing to do, right? Is like to concentrate on that. And so that's how Gary got, from this service dog breeder, that's how he ended up being like brought here. Anyway, it's funny because I was like, this, Gary, sit. Gary, give me paw. And he's like, I don't know any of that shit. He didn't even know how to walk. He's like never been on a leash before. So I had to like teach him how to walk. And I'm just like, what the fuck do they train these service dogs because they don't have anything? And the other day, I was joking around, and I pretended to cry. I just went like, I don't even want to do it because he'll get so like, what? Oh, I guess I'll do it. Okay. Hey, bud. I need to like put him in a nonchalant like. Look at him. He's like immediately up in your shit. No, you're not going to do it. Anyway, if you make any sort of crying sound, or if I like stub my toe and go like, ow, he'll like run over and be like, yo, at your service, licking, like up onto, it's very strange. So, I mean, I guess that's which makes sense, right? Because like when autistic children get in that cycle, that could break it because now they have this friend. That's like, although also like having a 9-pound Papillon, giving it to any child is kind of, or having any child around, and they're not great for children. I mean, they're nice to children. They're super nice dogs, but they're super fragile too. Although you don't know that, Gary. No, some of the things you jumped off of. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you break me out of my meltdown, buddy? Well, when I have a meltdown, I'll let you know how Gary did. So it'll be like 2 hours from now, probably. No, I don't melt down very often. I do in here. I don't show it in any way. I melt down all the time, but I'm not a shower. All right. Well, anyway, I guess that was a fun stream. I feel like we could have done a lot better. But not all streams are going to be great streams. I kind of hate that, like, the SDR stream, the radio stream, was one of the best ones. Like, I feel like that one, people were the most engaged and had the most fun, and we were all sort of laughing. Another one I'd like to, well, two other streams I'd like to try. But one of them, the first one that, like, really just requires the right amount of variables is astrophotography. Like I have it set up to where I could set up. It would have to be later. It couldn't be at 7. I could set up my telescope in the driveway. It hooks up. The camera hooks up to the Wi-Fi. I can control the telescope from like a command center in here, and you could do deep space photography, and you could see it stacking in real time. And within 2 hours, we could probably have a pretty solid thing, and it could be interactive because we could be like, all right, let's go this, let's try this, take a demo exposure. Man, that looks lame. That could be fun. Obviously, the moon has to be not out, and there has to be not clouds. Second thing, phase contrast microscopy. That would be a lot of fun too. That's like an easy. I have a phase contrast microscope. You can just like if you just grab a tardigrade or something or bacteria, anything, you don't need to stain it. Usually you don't with phase contrast, and so you could just kind of like grab things, swap slides. It's a good microscope for a stream. All that stuff would be fun. And then of course we probably have sim selections next week. I imagine it might be the week after that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, well, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you next week. All right, say bye, Gary. He's like, I don't sit in this chair.